The Absa Cape Epic is the most prestigious off-road race in the world and has become known as the Tour de France of mountain biking. Attracting the best riders on the planet, this unique event traverses the spectacular Western Cape of South Africa. The teams of two, both pros and amateurs, are pushed to their limits of strength, endurance and sheer tenacity. The accolade of winning this 8-day race is second to none. The 16th edition of the Absa Cape Epic will start in Cape Town for the Prologue, before travelling to the whale-watching seaside town of Hermanus. The teams then transition to Oak Valley Wine Estate in Elgin and next to Stellenbosch. The grand finale will see the riders race to the finish line at Val de Vie in Paarl. The total distance is 630 kilometres with almost 17,000 metres of climbing. Cape Town is a unique location surrounded by beautiful beaches and iconic mountains. The Prologue is an exciting 20-kilometre time trial race on the foothills of Table Mountain, where the riders have a chance to test their teamwork and compare their form. Although it is a short course and will take the pros less than an hour, the time will contribute to their general classification. Team Investec Songo Specialized are the defending champions. Jaroslav Kulhavi, the 2012 Olympic champion and three-time winner of this event, has returned with a new partner, Sam Gaze, the 2017 Under-23 World Cross Country champion.
It's a great event. To finally be racing, it's a childhood dream. To be there with the defending champion is this next level. So we'll see how the week goes. I feel ready, I feel prepared.
It will be very interesting for us, and a big challenge, new partner, and especially semi-newbie. And I'm looking forward for this week.
The Bulls team have a new pairing of Urs Huber and Simon Stiepjan. Huber has completed the Cape Epic 8 times, winning once. Stiepjan has completed 6 with his best result as third. Yes, of course it is super motivating to have a new partner by my side with Urs. Our preparations were great, now it's time to deliver. Team Trek Marco with Samuele Porro and Damiano Ferraro have had some real success in the Cape Epic. Both have stage wins and an overall third in 2016. The Italian duo are an ever-present force at this race and are sometimes underestimated. Team Cannondale Factory Racing are a popular matchup. Manuel Fumic and Enrique Avancini have 5 stage wins together. Their firepower and handling skills are always a threat, however they don't ride with a backup team. You just need to look at the results of the previous races. I think we have clearly improved. First, 5th, then 4th, then 3rd place. And now, for sure, the next step is to win the race. I think the competition is really strong this year. There are many top athletes at the start. I think it's the best field of riders we've ever had at the Epic. But we are really in good spirits, and the route seems to favour our style. There's a lot of technical stuff and a lot of steep stuff, a lot of single track, so we're very optimistic. The World Marathon Champion and the German cross-country champion state their intentions and cross the line in 44 minutes and 22 seconds to take 2nd place. 2017 Absa Cape Epic champion Scott SRAM Racing are back with the current Olympic and world champion Nino Schurter, who this year is paired for the first time with the European champion Lars Forster. The two Swiss were put together just days before the event, Schurter having completed 4 epics and Forster on his first.
Yeah,
it's big fun for me to take part in the Cape Epic. It's a very cool race. It's something completely different than the cross-country races I normally do, and I'm really looking forward to these 8 days. Scott SRAM Racing crossed the line just 41 seconds ahead of Cannondale to take the win and the coveted yellow zebra leader's jersey going into stage 1. Stage 1 is out of Hermanus, where during the winter months whales can be seen from the cliffs. This is the first real day of racing. It's traditionally one of the hardest, and at 112 kilometres, it's also the longest. The pace is furious at the front. With this many world-class fresh legs, there are egos and reputations to be built and broken. The teams are closely followed by the Bulls Media e-bike to capture all the race action at close quarters. The yellow jersey quickly puts in a few seconds on the chasing field and secures the Dimension Data hotspot. Avancini and Fumic have the bit between their teeth and are not going to let them go easily. Avancini and Schurter are quickly into a heated discussion about race etiquette, but as ever the legs speak louder than words. Schurter gets under the skin of Avancini and the battle commences. 80 kilometers into the race, Team Specialized are struck with disaster. Sam Gaze is caught out by the African bush and goes down really hard, hitting his head and twisting his bars. Koolhavi and Gaze chase back with Team Canyon, but the gap is growing. Bulls legends of Carl Plant and Alban Lecata have incredible marathon pedigree, but the pace has been feverish on the first stage and they are quickly dropped. The yellow jerseys find the legs and make a clean break from Cannondale as they climb Himmelsrand before the Land Rover technical terrain downhill section. Scott's Ram Racing crossed the line in 5 hours and 8 minutes to take the win back in Hermanus. 3.5 minutes later, Cannondale Factory Racing arrive in second place, but it's all positive for them.
I think not wearing the yellow early in the race, takes out a lot of pressure, takes out, a lot of attention. We have a plan. We have the shape for this edition, and so far we delivered exactly what as we wanted.
The two Bulls teams sprint for the line to stay ahead of Trek and take 3rd and 4th place. Defending champions Specialized are down in 6th. Stage 2 heads northwest out of Hermanus and on to Elgin. It's a relatively short stage at 90 kilometers, but it has relentless short, sharp climbs. All the heavy hitters are in the mix as the teams travel through the South African wilderness. Specialized Foundation, Scott, Bulls, Cross, Cannondale and Trek. The technical terrain through the North Shore style trails does not divide the group. The yellow jerseys keep driving relentlessly, but they can't shake the rest of the field. It becomes a personal battle between Schurter and Avancini. They exchange blows, but the team is only as strong as the weakest member. The two riders must remain within 2 minutes of each other. At this point, it's all about managing the energy levels. Schurter and Forst have had their fill and decide to kick on the steep Orchard Jeep track. Avancini pulls Fumik along and heads back to the sharp end. Fumik can't bridge the gap and Avancini has to drop back to his partner. The yellow jerseys continue to put the screws on the Cross and Cannondale teams and they create some meaningful space on the chasers. Scott take the win and increase their overall time gap by another 30 seconds. It's a huge help to have Nino by my side. He knows exactly what to do and when to do it. We are a great team. Cross and Cannondale battle it out for second and third, with Chink and Gutierrez winning the sprint. We tried to move smart within the peloton. I think any energy you can save up front might help you in the final days of the race. That's why I did this intentionally with regard to the next few days, because from now on it'll actually be even tougher.
We are 4 minutes down on GC, it's quite a lot. And let's see, now it's maybe about time to try to, doing some moves.
Team Investec Songo Specialized did not perform well on stage 1 after the crash from Gaze. It turns out things were worse than expected.
From They went to the doctors and got the diagnosis that I've been racing with a concussion. And obviously since after knowing that, you can't race with it, you know, especially when there's a risk of crashing again and doing permanent damage. So of course, like, I'm really upset about it. It wasn't how I intended this week to be, and you know, what can you do? I mean, if it's a concussion, it's a concussion, and I can only rest up from now on.
Stage 3 loops out of Elgin and takes in one of the most feared sections of the race, Groenlandberg. It's long, rough, and has 2,800 meters of climbing. Cannondale are true to their words and put some pressure on the yellow jerseys as they enter the Groenlandberg section. Also known as the Emerald Mountain, the terrain is fraught with bike-breaking objects, but the teams at the sharp end are fiery. Specialized Foundation NAD have been on the pace but are caught out by the intense racing, and Matthew Beers goes down. Kulhavi, now riding solo, is there to donate a wheel and keep his fellow teammates in contention for the Red African Leaders jersey. Trek Sellis and Marco have had 2 top 5 finishes so far and are in the mix with the yellow leaders, but it's Cannondale who are taking the initiative and putting some time in on the rest of the field. The pressure is on, and Scott pushed the limits, resulting in a puncture for Forster. Cool and calm, they make the repair and are back on the trails. Meanwhile, Fumic and Avancini see their opportunity and strike. Going full guns, they manage to increase the gap as Scott are struggling with the repair. Forster is forced to ride with a flat until they're caught by DSV and takes some much-needed assistance in the form of a replacement wheel. All this is denting into the overall time, and they're now 9 minutes down on the leading Cannondale team. Trek Sellis and Marco and Bulls Heroes are in the middle battling it out for third in the GC. Groenlandberg is so rough and rugged that the teams have to ride accordingly so they don't puncture. Even the best in the world, riding smart and soft, have mechanicals in the rocky terrain. Cannondale take the win and the time ticks away for the leaders' jerseys. Yes, a very emotional day. It was a very intense day today. We tried to put pressure on the yellow jersey. Usually when someone is under pressure, they make mistakes. In this case, the plan worked out. Team Bulls Heroes take second place and their first podium of the race, bumping them up to third in the overall by just 11 seconds. And third to cross the line is Trek Sellis and Marco. Scott make up some of the time, but cross the line 6 minutes and 45 seconds after Cannondale, and the yellow zebra leader's jersey changes hands. Yes, it's a pity to lose the jersey, but today we were just unlucky. I hope we will recover well and then attack again tomorrow. The nice thing about Epic is that you get into a real exchange with people. The fans enjoy it, and we enjoy it very much too. We've had some really great moments together.
Money kind of is one of the main person in my life. So to me, team up with him, you know, a guy that's so open and honest and with a great heart.
Winning the Cape Epic has always been on my wish list, especially because we spend a lot of time here in South Africa. Enrique is not only my team partner, but we are also very good friends.
I tell you, it's not easy to share the life with this guy, you know. He's always like on full throttle, you know. From 6 a.m., you know, he turns on the speakers and he comes the DJ and he's always like speaking loud and making jokes. Sometimes it's way too much, you know.
For me, it was only very clear that I would fight for the yellow jersey if I start together with Enrique. It would mean a lot for me and for him if we could do it together, to stand at the top at the end and put the yellow jersey on.
Last year I just became marathon world champion. You got the stripes, you got the jersey, but still winning the Epic, to me, would mean way more if I do alongside with money, just because it's something that sorry guys, would mean a lot to me.
After a time trial for stage 4, the riders moved into the toughest stage of the race, stage 5, known as the Queen stage. It's 100 kilometers long, with rough terrain and 2,850 meters of brutal climbing before arriving in Stellenbosch.
Yeah, we had an easy day yesterday. Trying to see if we can get my legs to fire and do something special with the last 3 days.
The top teams have 15 hours of intense racing in their legs and are now into the Queen stage. The temperatures are due to rise after a relatively cool start to this year's Cape Epic. Canadel's Manuel Fumic has been pushed to his limit, and a tiny lapse of concentration sees him wash out on the loose vineyard soil. Avancini sets the pace, but Paiga, Eurosteel, Cross Spur and a very hungry Scott SRAM Racing are hunting them down. Lars Forster punctures on the rocky descent of Nieuweberg, but André Frischnecht and his partner are riding in support for this very purpose. Frischnecht sacrifices a wheel and Forster is back on the bike in no time. The omnipresent Team Cross win the Dimension Data hotspot, followed by Paiga. Schurter and Forster follow. Cannondale are almost 1 minute off the pace, and Fumic seems to be struggling with today's brutal stage. Paiga and Cross are eventually joined by Scott, and the race is on. Paiga and Scott are at the sharp end, with Cross chasing their tails. Cannondale and Bulls battle it out in 4th and 5th. Schurter and Bass rode the Cape Epic together back in 2014 and are old stablemates. Paiga are chasing the red Absa Africa special jersey and Scott get a sniff of the yellow. On the King's Climb, the teams decide to work together, putting yet more time into the chasing pack. Avancini is setting the pace for Cannondale, but the tempo is too high today for Fumic. With over 3 hours of intensive racing, Forster makes a rare mistake and goes down. It's a minor crash, but it always dents the morale. The two teams fly down the Helderberg trails with just 20 kilometers to go. Matthijs Bierkes is the first to show, followed by his teammate Philip Bass. They take the win for South Africa. Scott followed right behind with Trek and finally Cannondale 6.5 minutes down.
Manny's really strong, you know. He's just having some moments where he loses the pace. I mean, everything is possible, you know. This the Cape Epic, don't forget that.
Lars and me both have a lot of fun riding bikes, riding flowy trails, riding turns, being free and doing some jumps. I think in order to be successful, it's very important to have fun with what you do. He is the best mountain biker in the world, and being able to race with him is just fun. Of course, if you can shake off the other riders, it's a great feeling that motivates you even more. Lars and me are just a good match. We both have our strengths that balance each other out. He's good at things where I have weaknesses, and this makes us extremely strong. Nino is a cool guy. We spend a great time together. We get along well. We can make jokes as he keeps his feet on the ground. He hardly ever makes mistakes. That's what sets him apart. Winning the Cape Epic is certainly a big goal. It's something I would list next after the Olympics. With the GC riders playing tactical games, it gives the other teams an opportunity to gun for the prestige of winning a stage. 7C CBZ Villiers do just that on stage 6. Louis Meyer is the first ever Colombian to take the top step of the podium with teammate Johnny Catania from Italy. The final stage in the Absa Cape Epic has traditionally been short and relatively easy, but this year it's a challenge. At 70 kilometers with 1800 meters of climbing, it does offer opportunity to shake up the GC. The riders leave Stellenbosch for the final time. Eiger have tasted victory and want another piece of it on the final stage, but Cross have been there day after day and not had the legs to take the win. Cannondale already off the pace, 1.5 minutes behind. Scott have their eye closely on them in case of a sudden breakaway. Eiger and Cross decide to work together and make some time on the rest of the field. They agree to make it fair and square and put it all down to a sprint finish. Cannondale continue to slip back, unable to shake off Scott. Their hopes of a last-minute reprise is diminishing. Eiger, Eurosteel and Cross Spur continue to push the pace, even through the Land Rover technical terrain. This is the final of the final, and they're holding nothing back. Eiger are desperate for another win, and Cross, although they have 2 podiums, they are yet to take a win, and this is the most coveted of all. As they cross the Berg River just 5 kilometers from the finish line, the tactics start to unfold. After almost 3 hours of racing, Bjerkes makes his move from the front, but it's the time of the second rider that counts. Base and Chink are at the back, and it's down to them. Ching crosses the line just 1/100th of a second ahead of Base to take the prestigious final stage win.
And we try every day almost for the winning, and today was last chance, and I'm super happy that we did it.
Cannondale Factory Racing bring it home safely and secure the 2nd place in the overall. But it's Scott SRAM Racing, Nino Schurter and Lars Forster that keep their cool on the final stage and cross the line in Val de Vie to take the overall win. Yeah, it's just awesome and very cool to win the race like this. Lars and me harmonized perfectly during the week. I even heard him talking to his girlfriend on the phone once saying, yes, it hasn't been this hard so far. And me, I was pretty close to the limit already.
I just love to race my heart out. Of course, we came here to try to win, and we are going home with a 2nd place. So it's not like a mission accomplished to me. And for sure we're gonna be back next year. I believe we're still gonna win this race together, me and Manny.
Scott SRAM Racing take it home for the win after 26 hours in the saddle. Cannondale couldn't quite pull it back, finishing 7 minutes and 36 seconds behind, and Trek Celis and Marco round off the podium. Notably, the top African team of Hathley and Beers sneak into the top 5. 7C CBZ Villiers teams have a stage win and take 7th and 8th overall, with the green Exaro jersey going to Lucky Klangeni and Tepo Tlo. The Absa Cape Epic 2019 has not disappointed. The best riders in the world racing elbow to elbow and being pushed to breaking point, physically, mentally and emotionally. The memories of the teams will be long-lived and will find a special place in the heart of all who cross the finish line.